services at the Manhyia Government Hospital returned to normal after aggrieved nurses at the facility called off their strike initiated to protest an alleged abuse of one of their colleagues. Healthcare delivery at the hospital in Kumasi was brought to a halt on Friday, December 2, 2022, following an indefinite strike by the nurses and midwives. Patients on admission who were in critical condition were referred to other facilities, while those nearing recovery were discharged and asked to continue treatment at home after the nurses and midwives demanded the dismissal of the Director of National Service Scheme in the region for verbally abusing the nurse at the facility. But in a statement on Friday evening, the leadership of JRNMA called on its members to resume work on Saturday, December 3, and allow investigations to be completed. Earlier, private citizen Adnan Adams Mohammed petitioned Ghana Health Service to punish the striking Manhyia nurses, or he will seek legal redress at the Supreme Court. We are now joined by our Shanti regional correspondent Abdul Basit Suleiman for a situational update from the region concerning happenings at the Manhyia Hospital. Now, Abdul, good evening to you. What is the state of affairs at the hospital now?
Good evening, and good evening to our viewers. Yes, I can say for a fact that the nurses have heeded to the concerns by the mother unions and have resigned their decision. They are back to work today, this morning, on Saturday. You know, due to the strike, most of them came early in the morning, but were reluctant to work until around 10 a.m. before most of them started working after receiving an official communique from their officials. And as I speak with you now, patients are receiving treatment at all angles of the hospital right now as I speak with you. You know, yesterday when they declared a strike, most of the patients over there remained stranded, whilst those on admission were transferred to other facilities. But as at this morning, those who came in have been treated. Those who are supposed to be admitted to have been admitted at the hospital, at Manhyia Government Hospital right now. But there has also been a lot of talk around, you know, the actions taken by the nurses in response to what Mr. Opoku did at the hospital. Most of the public have condemned the actions by the nurses, saying that even though if an individual has offended a nurse, that should not be determined for them to leave patients and go on strike. So as I speak with you, they've also been kind and are back to work right now.
I know that the nurses asked, or the hospital asked, those who were getting better to go home and continue treatment, and also those who were in critical conditions to go to different hospitals for treatment. But really, how did the strike affect work at the hospital?
Yeah, for yesterday, the strike really affected work at the hospital because others, those who came in yesterday who were not aware of the strike were really disappointed. And even there were some who were critically ill and have been admitted. All of them were asked to seek other treatment in other facilities, which became a very worrying situation yesterday at the hospital. But as at this morning, because almost all the nurses are at post and are taking care of the patient, it seems far better today than yesterday. Even yesterday, almost all the nurses were in red band. They've tied their hand and head with red band, but today most of them have removed the red band, signifying that they've now come down to do their normal work at the hospital.
Now, if somebody is wondering what exactly you are talking about, let's refresh the minds of viewers. Now, bring me up to speed with what led to the strike and what exactly the situation is as of now.
You know, the Ashanti Regional National Service Director, in the person of Opoku Mensah, was reported to have went to the hospital to attack a nurse over there, because the nurse has had a misunderstanding between his daughter and the nurse. And all that brought about the issue was that, according to sources at the hospital, that the nurse they prescribe. They prescribe. It's not even a medicine. They prescribe a drip for a patient, and that drip there is a shortage of that drip in the hospital. So the nurse called the doctor to prescribe a different drip for her to go and buy and bring it to the hospital. But according to the doctor, the way and manner the nurses talked to her on phone was not proper for her. So she was not happy about that, and the father too, who heard them arguing on the phone, also was not happy. So he followed up to the hospital to come and insult, in quote, insult the nurse and use some palatable words against the nurse. This is all that brought about the issue at Manhyia Hospital. The nurse, together with other elders of the hospital, were also not happy why the father should have to follow his daughter to the hospital and come and say a whole lot of things against a nurse. This is just a misunderstanding between the doctor and the nurse that has brought all this issue. Even though he has apologized and he has been suspended, but the nurses were not happy with it. As I speak with you, they've given up to December 16 for this particular issue to be resolved. Otherwise, the entire nurses would go back on strike. They would go entirely on strike and will never work till the resolution to this matter is done.
All right, Abdul Suleiman, right there from the Ashanti region, bringing us up to speed. Happenings there at the Manhyia Hospital. We'll tell you more as a story.